Welcome to News Video Clip. Politico has come out with a wild new poll. It shows that 66% of MAGA voters would support a Republican candidate who has been accused of sexual abuse. 72% of MAGA voters would support a Republican who's been accused of domestic abuse, like beating their wife. Let's go over to I've Had It because they have more on this story.
This is a super stunning thing to say out loud. From the Hill, 2 in 3 MAGA voters say they'd support Republican candidates accused of sexual assault. 2 out of 3 said it out loud. We would still support, which we know because they do.
That is spot on. Donald Trump is mentioned in the Epstein files over 1 million times. And one of the Epstein victims did come forward, and she said that a second Epstein victim talked about how Trump explicitly sexually abused her. Now, we're going to go over to Fox News, where a Democratic candidate named Oliver Larkin, he's running for Congress in Florida, he outright said it. He called Trump a pedophile. This is a great clip. Let's watch.
Number that is fine with you. Is there a benchmark? Is it fine? How many children can be raped and it's fine if you're in relation to the immigration community?
If we're going to talk about children being raped, then we need to hold this pedophile president, Donald Trump, accountable, and all those that have been implicated by the Epstein files that the Department of Justice is still not leaking. And they've sent AIPAC after Thomas Massie for having the temerity to hold accountable the pedophiles that are in control of our government.
So there you go. You could see the Fox News guy. He's quickly bringing that interview to an end because Oliver Larkin said the quiet part out loud. He called out Trump for the pedophile that he truly is. And Fox News claims to support free speech. They don't. They just ended the interview when it got a little too spicy for them. Alrighty, speaking of pedophiles, journalist and lawyer Katie Fang, she has sued the Trump Justice Department, which is headed by acting Attorney General Todd Blanche, to follow the federal law and release all of the Epstein files, which Blanche still refuses to do. So here's more on this from Katie Fang, and she's on I've Had It.
Todd Blanche's team says this is a valid redaction. However, there is not a victim. It's fellow abuser Sultan bin Salam, and therefore is redaction to protect reputation, a direct violation of the Epstein Transparency Act. I've seen other of these floating around. What is your level of confidence that he has properly redacted these files?
So that example that Kylie just put up for everybody to see is a great example of how Blanche is continuing to violate the Epstein Files Transparency Act, as you and I sit here today and have this conversation, in addition to being in contempt of a court order.
Right.
Now, the redactions in that email from the person who claims that they loved the torture video, you can see it at the bottom of the screen. I loved the torture video. That is an email by and between allegedly Sultan bin Sulayem. Now, Todd Blanche was such a prick. He was like, oh, if Katie Fang had just Googled it, she would have seen that Tom Massie outed the sender of that email as this Sultan. Well, as I like to say, there's no trust me, bro, legal exception that I have to abide by. I get, because the law says I get, an unredacted email. Whether it's the Sultan's name, who the hell knows? I haven't seen it with my own 2 eyes. But more importantly, why is Todd Blanche, as the acting Attorney General of the Trump Department of Justice, protecting somebody who loves torture videos? He literally put in court filings, Pumps. He put it's just an email address, so it would only serve to violate the privacy of the email address. Are you joking? But that's what he's saying.
So there you go. Katie Fang just destroying Todd Blanche. And by the way, Todd Blanche still wants to be the permanent Attorney General, but he can't even get past the Senate vote, which is controlled by the Republicans. Even they know What a horrible Trump stooge that Todd Blanche is. In fact, only a couple of weeks ago, Todd Blanche admitted on television he was Trump's lawyer. That is not what the Attorney General is supposed to be. The Attorney General is supposed to be the lawyer for the United States, and the American people, not the president. All right, now we're going to hop over to CNBC, where Joe Kernan got completely owned by Pete Buttigieg. Now, you might remember Joe Kernan. We did a story on him a few weeks ago when he was pushing an absolute lie, a conspiracy theory that Anthony Fauci somehow magically orchestrated the COVID pandemic. So let's watch crusty old Joe Kernan get owned by Pete Buttigieg on CNBC.
When we left, inflation was lower than it is today.
You accounted for 21.5% pricing.
This president took the inflation rate up.
Inflation.
This president
It's
took the inflation rate
2.7%.
up.
It's 2.7%.
It's more than 3% year on year. You saw the numbers just come out. It's more than 3% year on year.
Okay.
Isn't it?
PCE,
Am I
there's
mistaken?
It is.
Sorry?
The math is direct. The math is math.
Inflation, look,
it
it couldn't be
fluctuates
simpler.
from 2.7 to 3%.
It's higher than when he got here,
It's
Joe.
not 9%.
His central campaign promise was he was going to take inflation and drive it down, and instead he
It's
took
not
inflation and it's up.
9%. I thought in the Fed
It was
office,
3 when he got here, and now it's more. It
Well, it's
could
around-
not be simpler than that.
it's around 3, and we're involved in a war
He
with
said
the
on
street.
day one it would go down. He came in on day one, and now it's up.
It's up to 3%. It was 21.5%
He
pricing
promised
increases
it would go
over
down.
4 years. Over 4 years, it was 21.5%.
Promised it would go down.
Democrats own the affordability.
Listen to me.
Period.
Why did the president fail to
Laugh.
keep
You
his
don't think
promise?
Democrats
No,
own the
Joe,
affordability crisis?
Why did the president fail to keep his promise to lower prices, in your opinion?
I'm laughing because this piece of it is basic. The president did say that he wanted to be in office to bring inflation down, and he has not brought inflation down. That's all.
He drove it up. He not only failed, he drove it up.
Mr. Secretary,
So there you go. Pete Buttigieg absolutely humiliating Joe Kernan, again, who's a crusty, tired old liar. He ought to be in an old folks home, but somehow he's got a show co-hosting the Squawk Box on CNBC. Is that all it takes, CNBC, to be a serial liar, to be a conspiracy theorist? Is that all it takes to host one of your shows? Because I actually back up what I claim. Am I qualified to be on one of your shows? I don't know. Drop me a line. Tell me if I'm qualified or not, because I don't make shit up like your host, Joe Kernan, who's a serial liar and a scumbag. All right. Speaking of scumbags, every time we do a story about Elon Musk, some of his fans get really upset and they post comments below this video. So, of course, we're going to do another story about Elon Musk. A federal judge is supporting a Minnesota law that blocks Elon Musk's artificial intelligence, XAY, that's Grok, from creating non-consensual nude images of people. Musk claims that Grok is protected by the First Amendment's guarantee of free speech, as if an app has the right to create non-consensual nude images of people. That is not even close to being protected by the First Amendment. And let's not forget, NBC News reports that as recently as April 2026, Grok was continuing to generate sexualized images of people without their consent. Elon Musk doesn't care about consent. He wants to do whatever he wants to do, even if it's making a nude image of you without your consent. That's how sick this ketamine addict is. He's a sick, sick individual. Alrighty, those are all the stories we have. We do have links to all of our stories right below this video. We back up everything we claim. Unlike the right-wing podcasters Joe Rogan, Benny Johnson, Tim Pool, Riley Gaines, Kristen Hawkins, Jimmy Dore, in fact, they don't even cover the real news. They don't even do stories like these. All they do is lie. They are paid influencers. They are paid liars. And we have busted them over and over and over. All right, I want to thank everybody who subscribed to this channel. If this is your first time watching and you like it, please subscribe. If you hate it, please subscribe. If you hate my guts, definitely subscribe. And we'll be back later with more stories.